all along. This does not surprise me. Washington Examiner has an early release of a Rasmussen survey finding a majority of the public believes that it is appropriate for politicians to criticize reporters and hold them to the same scrutiny as they cover. Now, I can tell you the latest group of people to get it wrong over at Conspiracy TV, MSNBC, the Rachel Maddow Area 51 Conspiracy Channel. They came out last night. They had huge, big breaking news. Oh, gosh, I can't believe it. And, you know, turns out none of it is true.
Then there's the other part, the loan documents. And that is part of what this subpoena is going after. And this single source close to Deutsche Bank has told me that Donald Trump's loan documents there show that he has co-signers. That's how he was able to obtain those loans. And that the co-signers are Russian oligarchs.
What? Really?
Russia.
That would explain, it seems to me, every kind word Donald Trump has ever said about Russia and Vladimir Putin, if true. And I stress the if true.
Oh, let's report it, and then we'll put in the safety word, if true. That's what we'll do. We'll have a safe word, if true. That's what we'll call it. Make it this bombshell. It explains everything. Well, NBC got a letter from a law firm today. And the law firm was writing on behalf of the president, the Trump organization, demanding a retraction, correction, and an apology. Sorry, Lawrence. Sorry, Rachel. That would be another lie, another hoax, another conspiracy that you're spreading to your ever-diminishing audiences.
Kiddo, did you get your home insurance yet? Hippo? Why didn't you go with what we have? Outdated? Ridiculous. Our policy covers pewter dishware, stock certificates, furs.
Most home insurance policies are painfully outdated. Hippo is different, with more coverage for the things you actually have today. And Hippo can cost up to 25% less.
I hear pewter's making a comeback.
Visit myhippo.com to get a quote in 60 seconds. Hippo is a licensed property casualty insurance agent with products underwritten by various insurance companies. Covered subject to underwriting qualification. Savings vary.
Say Metro by T-Mobile got the best deal in wireless, and it's all for you, all for me. Just switch quickly, cause Metro has 2 lines for $80 and 2 Samsung Galaxy J7 Star phones for free, plus Amazon Prime included. That's the way wireless should be, only at Metro.
Plus sales tax and activation fee. $50 plus rate plan required. Not valid for numbers currently on T-Mobile network or on Metro in past 90 days. Offer subject to change. Offer valid for new Amazon Prime members. Amazon Prime has a $12.99 per month value. Restrictions apply. See store for details and terms and conditions.
They call you the Grill Master. You've seared the thickest porterhouse in the butcher shop. And as you lift that first forkful to your mouth, you savor the moment. To get amazing offers during the Mercedes-Benz summer event, like the 2019 C-Class sedan and GLC SUV, the perfect recipes of driving performance. Plus, you can enjoy 6 months of Sirius XM All Access included. The Mercedes-Benz summer event, now serving limited time offers on a select lineup of vehicles. Offers end September 3rd. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Find your kind of summer fun at Castaway Cove Water Park. From the Pirate's Plunge.
That's my kind of fun.
To the Lazy River.
This is my kind of fun.
To the Shipwreck Beach.
This is my kind of fun.
To Buccaneer Bay.
This is my kind of fun.
Visit weekdays and Castaway Cove Water Park has your kind of deal. Moms and grandparents are only $13.99 weekdays.
This is my kind of fun.
Find your kind of fun at Castaway Cove Water Park. Open daily.
From the Fox Business Network, all Wall Street stocks are higher in the final hour of trading, although investors are concerned as recession worries loom and trade tensions between the U.S. and China drag on. Investors are continuing to shift money into government bonds, driving long-term bond yields further below short-term ones. The so-called inversion of the yield curve has been a signal of a recession. And if you're so inclined to take home those small plastic bottles of shampoo, conditioner, and bath gel from hotel rooms, you'll be out of luck if you're staying at a Marriott. The hotel chain says it will be eliminating them from all all of its hotels worldwide by the end of the year while phasing in larger refillable pumps. The larger bottles can be recycled, unlike the tiny ones. And McDonald's is expanding its partnership with DoorDash across the country with its McDelivery now available in more than 10,000 U.S. locations. Fast food retailers are betting on food delivery apps to generate more revenue from new customers and markets. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Hillary Barsky.
Do you want to learn to speak a new language but don't have enough time? Then you need to try Babbel, the language learning app that you can try for free right now at Babbel.com. Babbel's lessons are just 15 minutes or less, and you can go at your own pace. You'll be amazed at how easy Babbel makes it. Start your first lesson in the language of your choice for free. Just download the Babbel app or go to Babbel.com now. That's Babbel.com.
Carl's Jr.'s new guacamole double cheeseburger's only $299.
You forgot the decimal?
Only $299.
Not decibel, decimal. The guacamole double cheeseburger is only $2.99 at Carl's Jr.
Oops. Available for a limited time. Price of participation may vary. Tax not included.
Any successful business owner will tell you there is no better advertising than word of mouth. So, are people talking about your product? Well, with the right message, they should be. Let's talk about influencers. It's the new buzzword in branding, but influencers have been around on the radio forever. Radio is where word-of-mouth advertising begins, and the digital products offered here at Town Square Media drive your message home. Our clients know that we are a results-based business that thrives when you thrive. The weather outside is hot, and your sales should be too. Call Town Square Media of Wichita Falls for a personalized plan of action to make that happen. Our local team of account executives helps businesses like yours get new clients every day. Town Square Media of Wichita Falls is the name you need to know. And the number is 940-763-1111. That's 940-763-1111. We'll give you a rundown of services and get people talking about you.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
The swamp. One corrupt politician at a time. This is the Sean Hannity Show.
All right, 25 till the top of the hour, 800-941-SEAN, toll-free telephone number. So now we reported this, another example of we being right and the media mob being wrong, that we expect 4 separate reports that will be coming out. That's what we think at this point. John Solomon believes there's going to be a separate report on leaking, like in the case of McCabe. We're also still awaiting a decision on whether they will prosecute or not prosecute the former deputy FBI director, McCabe. And but we expect the first report now to be released tomorrow. Now, that means that would be the report on James Comey. That would be, I'm told it's some 60 some odd pages. And I'm told that it's not going to read well for Jim Comey. The only thing that Jim Comey might get out of this is the likelihood that the Attorney General, even though we are prepared, it's going to recommend some type of action be taken against Comey. In other words, he's being referred to. There's a criminal referral on the former FBI director in this report, so I am told. Whether that happens, I don't know. But it's going to be, as this goes on, and then we're going to get the Pfizer report. Then that's James Comey all over that, too. That's James Comey, who went and was warned ahead of time, who then went forward with premeditated fraud on a FISA court, claiming material that was bought and paid for by Hillary Clinton that was unverifiable was verified. And he was warned repeatedly that, in fact, it was not verified and that it was political and that the person that put it together, that would be Christopher Steele. Christopher Steele didn't even stand by his own dossier. So that's going to be the real big one, the first real big one. Tomorrow, though, is, from what I hear, it is not going to read well for James Comey. But this is separate and apart from Michael Horowitz's Inspector General report on the DOJ's handling of the Trump-Russia probe, and that report sometimes referred to by Republicans as the investigation into FISA abuse. And then I believe there'll be yet another report, maybe the Durham report, the Barr-Durham report, and that's going to get into the origins of the Trump-Russia investigation, and that will then take us into the abuse in the intelligence community. And what I believe will prove is the outsourcing of that which is illegal by our own intelligence community to allied nations' intelligence gathering agencies like Italy's and, let's say, Great Britain's and Australia's. And basically they subcontracted out that which was illegal to circumvent U.S. laws in this country to allied countries. Now, I'm not sure why the Inspector General chose to write a separate report on Comey. We have already learned that there was a criminal referral. We have already learned that Comey was lacking candor. That's a nice way of saying that he lied. We also know, among other things, that Comey is in the forefront of the big report that, as I understand, has been completed. And that big report now is being worked on in terms of whether or not there are any redactions that will be necessary. I also understand that I guess Comey and others have been given an opportunity to respond to some of that. That's always disturbing to me. Nobody gave Donald Trump and his team an opportunity to see Mueller's report ahead of time, that I know of. Anyway, Comey's memos, well, he shouldn't have taken those memos. That's government property. What he did is a violation of the Espionage Act. That was confidential FBI documents, and 1 month after he was fired, his own former agents came to his house and had to interrogate them and retrieve these documents that he should not have had in his possession. Now, the memos began when he went to visit Donald Trump, then president-elect, in Trump Tower in January of 2017, before the inauguration. And that all continued, by the way, the memos through April 2017. That's the month before Trump was fired. When Trump fired the FBI director, one of the smartest things he ever did in retrospect. Comey telling Congress that he sent some of the memos to a friend. That would be illegal, by the way. And for the purpose of being leaked to the New York Times, and Comey hoped media reports would then set off a firestorm, and then he hoped would ultimately result in the appointment of a special counsel to investigate the Trump-Russia matter, because he actually was the one responsible for creating the false narrative by lying to the FISA court in the first place. That's precisely what happened with the appointment of his friend, Robert Mueller. Not sure what conclusions they are. I do understand this will come out tomorrow, but that is the first in what will be many reports. This is going to get very interesting, very, very fast. But if, we have to raise this question, we already know, I don't see a whole lot of movement as it relates to enforcing the Espionage Act on Hillary Clinton, especially in light of what we now know, that the fix was in, the investigation was rigged, the exoneration had been written long before the investigation took place. We even have Strzok and Page, writing each other, texting each other. Yeah, right. We know the fix is in here. We know that it's being run by Loretta Lynch. They put it on Loretta Lynch's lap, which, by the way, probably isn't a stretch considering what we know about Loretta Lynch and her meeting on the tarmac just days before that decision was going to come down as to whether or not they would pursue any criminal charges against Hillary Clinton. The evidence is overwhelming. It's incontrovertible. She had a private server. On that private server, she had confidential, private, top secret, classified, special access programming information. Now, of course, the original exoneration used the legal language, which was then changed to extreme carelessness, and that was done to protect Hillary, so they can't say, oh, yeah, well, gross negligence is the standard. Let's change that. Let's get rid of gross negligence. Well, what if she's putting all of this information on a private server? Then I have the lead investigator, or one of them, Peter Strzok, find out in the process of all of this that the Chinese had actually hacked into Hillary's email server and that they were receiving everything that went in there in real time, and he didn't lift a finger to do anything about it. Why not? And why would Strzok, who was also involved in the interrogation of General Flynn, why would Strzok be interrogating Hillary Clinton, and then people involved in the case that were given immunity like Cheryl Mills and one other person, they were allowed to sit next to Hillary Clinton during that time? All irregular and all under James Comey's watch, just like what they did to General Flynn. We had unmasking, we had surveillance, unmasking, the leaking of raw intelligence, real crimes. We know Hillary, that is a violation of 18 U.S.C. 793. Then, of course, we care about obstruction. That happened there. Then premeditated fraud on the FISA court. All of this happened. So that will be the beginning tomorrow. We expect that report is going to be coming out. Numerous sources we have been telling me all day that this is happening tomorrow. So we'll probably have it by the time we get on the air tomorrow. But that's, if we have a system of justice for the Clintons, that sends Christian Saucier to prison for a year because he had 6 pictures of a submarine on his phone that he shouldn't have had, violating the Espionage Act, that's a problem. If either Comey or McCabe are showing a lack of candor, and that would be lying to the FBI. That would be lying to congressional investigators. Well, those were things that, let's see, George Papadopoulos, he had to plead guilty to that. General Flynn, who they didn't even think was lying, he did a plea deal on that. I hope Sidney Powell withdraws that plea at some point, considering what we know now, and that is McCabe, the deputy FBI director, told General Flynn he doesn't need an attorney. I thought you had the right to remain silent. I thought you had the right to an attorney. If you can't afford one, one will be provided. Whatever happened to the Miranda readings to General Flynn? They said you don't need an attorney, but it was an interrogation. And then the FBI director, McCabe's boss, the number one guy, Mr. Super Patriot, brags about taking advantage of day 4 of the Trump administration and the natural chaos that would occur in any transition. And he sent his agents in, something he acknowledges he would never do in the Bush or Obama administrations. Highly irregular. Why? Now he has to, where he's waiting for his sentencing? And as we get to know more and more, when we find out that even Strzok didn't think that General Flynn was lying, then you have to ask yourself, well, why did General Flynn, agree to a plea deal that said he lied? Well, I think the answer is pretty obvious. Because he's going bankrupt, had to sell his home, and from everything that I've heard, from every source I have, is they were threatening to go after his own son who was in business with him. So you're a father, and you got, okay, what do I got to do? So if I sign this paper and admit to something I didn't do, you'll leave my family alone. Okay, here's my signature. What do you do under those circumstances? You go fight it? You don't have the money to fight it. You don't have a home anymore. How far can you take it? It's unbelievable. So if all these people, Manafort, Cohn, Flynn, Papadopoulos, their lack of candor gets them time in jail, why wouldn't that apply? Those standards apply to McCabe. Why wouldn't those standards apply to Comey? I can't imagine any of us that put top secret classified information on a private server knowing that it's illegal, because Hillary knew it, because at the State Department, she warned her own employees not to do We can't have a dual justice system. Good luck deleting emails and destroying hard drives and phones if you ever get subpoenaed. I don't think it's going to work out well. I don't think it would work out well if you lie to judges either, and you're warned that what you're giving a judge is a lie. I don't think that would work out too well. We have an update on the issue of the border wall. Washington Post, Border Patrol tweeted that they expect to complete 450 miles of brand new border wall construction by Election Day 2020. That's more than double the 350 miles of pedestrian wall that existed before the president took office. The other 300 miles of so-called existing wall are just vehicle barriers, which only stop cars and trucks, not people on foot. President has now issued orders to contractors to put the pedal to the metal, finish the entire wall by the end of next year. And if you don't think that's possible, just Google 3 words, the Woolman Rink, which I would love to see the president kind of adopt the city of Baltimore, at least part of the city for that. Anyway, so the president is now pushing everybody to complete 500 miles of fencing in his first term, which I think would be a good idea and another promise kept, and I hope he gets it up. Now that he won the court case and they can, in fact, reallocate those billions of dollars from the Defense Department to help build the wall, as past presidents had done, and as I told you, it would work out that way. Some people were angry at the time he gave up on the fight. He wouldn't give up on the fight, he just changed strategies. Let's see. NBC poll, 62% of voters say they're very uncomfortable backing a 75-year-old presidential candidate. Now, remember, way back in March, before sleepy, creepy, crazy Uncle Joe, stumbling and bumbling his way through these campaign appearances, not to mention forgetting where he was and insisting he's not going nuts and trotting out his brain surgeon to say his brain is working. And then gets a ringing endorsement from his wife. Well, I know you may support someone else. You'll have to swallow and vote for him. A full 62% of voters feel, quote, very uncomfortable voting for a presidential candidate over 75. Biden is 76. He'll be 77 on Election Day. His birthday, November 20th. So by the time he takes office, he'd be 78. Not looking too energetic out there on the campaign trail either, by any stretch of the imagination. That I can tell you. We got a lot coming up on the program today. Don Jr. is going to join us at the top of the next hour. We're going to give you an update on the case of Clint Lawrence. I mean, the fact that this poor guy's still in a jail cell, 20 years he's sentenced to jail. He had 15 seconds to make a decision to save the lives of his platoon members is unconscionable. We'll tell you about the latest efforts to get him released. Austin Goolsbee and I will talk a little bit about the Green New Deal versus the Trump economy and much, much more. First, I want to remind you that in this digital age we live in, you know, these cyber criminals are everywhere, and they want to take everything that is yours. You need to protect yourself, your finances, your family, and the way you do it is with LifeLock.com. The great thing about LifeLock is, well, they monitor everything about you, and they detect a wide range of threats that you would miss on your own. And if you have a problem, they have U.S.-based restoration specialists that'll fix it for you. But remember, these, thieves, these cyber criminals, they get your information. They take out loans in your name. They take out credit cards in your name. They rob your bank accounts blind, your retirement accounts blind. They get your tax refund. They do it all. Pretty sophisticated to protect your good name, your finances, and reputation. LifeLock.com sees the threats you'd miss by yourself. Right now, you'll get 10% off. Go to LifeLock.com or call 1-800-LifeLock. Just use the promo code Hannity to save money. But protect your name, your reputation, and your money. LifeLock.com.
Sean's got more behind-the-scenes information, more contacts than anybody, more friends behind the curtain. Sean Hannity is on.
Ultima 2100 grease for your industrial and agricultural needs. Find out more at RoyalOilUS.com.
We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Got to be ready to take a punch. And therefore you have to be ready to throw a punch for the children.
I'm not going to lose that wealth. I'm not going to lose it on dreams, on windmills, which, frankly, aren't working too well.
I apologize that you ever got to know Donald Trump, but this New Yorker volunteers to get rid of him for you. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, so that was a little bit different.
Freedom is back in style. Welcome to the revolution.
Yeah, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song.
Sean Hannity. The new Sean Hannity Show. More behind-the-scenes information on breaking news and more bold, inspired solutions for America.
You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about. That's why I believe if we are fortunate enough to win back the House and or the Senate, that's when civility can start again.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be?
Does one of us have to come out alive?
Yes, I'm angry. Yes, I am outraged. Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president? I want to clarify, I'm not an actor. I lie for a living.
You get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
Donald Trump is a
This
guy
does not
who,
surprise me.
You understand, he
Washington
hurts you.
Examiner.
And my testosterone sometimes makes me want to feel like punching him, and which would be bad for this elderly, out of shape man that he is if I did that.
For when he was elected, what I wrote on Twitter was we should impose martial law till we make sure that the Russians weren't involved in the final tallies of the vote. And people were like, martial law, what's wrong with you? You're a lunatic.
Well, he wants to send the military to the border, so.
I want to send the military to the White House to get him.
You know, I had a dream the other night about that I was playing golf with Donald Trump, and I was standing beside him with a club in my hand, and I was, considering my options when I suddenly woke up. It was one of those dreams where you want to just get back to sleep so you can finish it.
Put Mr. Burgess up against Sean Hannity. He'll tear him up. I want you to argue with him and get in their face.
Press always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish.
What we've got to do is fight in Congress, fight in the courts, fight in the streets.
Ordinary people who simply saw what needed to be done and came together and supported those ideals, who have made the difference. They've marched. They've bled. Yes, some of them have died. This is hard. Every good thing is. We have done this before. We can do this again.
As far as I'm concerned, the Tea Party can go straight to hell.
In fact, the only thing your mouth is good for is being Vladimir Putin's holster.
He's a punk. He's a dog. He's a pig. He's a con, a bull artist, a mutt. He's an idiot. He talks how he wants to punch people in the face. Well, I'd like to punch him in the face.
Trump. It's no longer down with Trump, it's Trump.
And in that orderly and formal way and lawful way, we need to overthrow the government of the United States under Donald Trump.
But Michelle says that, when they go low, we go high. No. When they go low, we kick them. That's what this new Democratic Party is about.
All right, there you hear it. There's all the love and happiness and light and bringing togetherness of the modern Democratic Socialist Extreme Party. Joining us now, Donald Trump Jr. A lot of the threats against him and his family have been well chronicled. Doesn't seem that the left cares about threats against them, even against an 11, 12, 13-year-old kid. That's happened as well. Now, Donald Trump Jr. is coming out with a new book this fall, and it is called Triggered, How the Left Thrives on Hate, Wants to Silence Us. Mr. Trump, sir, how are you?
I'm doing well, Sean. How about yourself?
It's really not that hard to do this job, because all you have to do is replay every dumb thing that they've said, every threat that they've made. This is now, I call it the mob, because it's a mob mentality. It's every second, every minute, every hour of every 24-hour day, every 7-day week, every month, every year. They wake up, they hate you.
More importantly, they can't even see the hypocrisy in it. What I always like to do and what I'll talk about in the book, imagine Donald Trump, or imagine even me, Donald Trump Jr., said those things in the clip you just played. the level of outrage, it would actually solve our mainstream media problem, Sean, because their heads would explode. There'd be none of them left. But when they do it, just fine. Total pass. No problem. It's really disgusting. And they don't talk about the things. You brought it up right. I mean, when my family opened up an envelope that contained a white powder substance, no problem, no big deal. He probably deserves it. He's a conservative. We're playing two very different games, and it's pretty sad to watch what's happening.
Well, I don't think this will ever be a bigger choice election than the one that's coming up in 2020. But you talk about this double standard. Now think about this. And you were part of this whole Russia. If you watch,
I was the number 2 person they went after, probably after my father. I was the guy that they were hoping they were going to nail. I went through that for 2 years.
I can't tell you how many times I'd hear from people, they got him. Oh, they got him. Oh, Donald Trump's and his son, they're going to jail. They're going to be impeached. But you notice they go Russia, then impeach, then collusion. And then they move to Stormy, and then racist. And what it is...
You forgot cover-up, Sean. You forgot cover-up. And then once all of those fail, then it goes back to Russia. I mean, they literally did that last night.
Oh, then it's and it's a manufactured crisis at the border. And you heard about the allegation that a 15-year-old girl was raped in Maryland by an illegal immigrant, or the sanctuary cities and states that allow convicted illegal alien criminals that have even committed violent crimes. They're protected from being deported. And everyone gets free health care, too, on top of it. But here's the thing. And by the way, and I would agree, 99% of people just want the great American dream that we have. The thing is that this now is, it is selective. Because if they cared about election interference, they would have cared that Obama tried to beat Prime Minister Netanyahu and he interfered in their elections. You would think if Russia was that important, the phony Russian dossier that Hillary paid for, that the New York Times says was likely Russian disinformation from the beginning, meaning, they knew Hillary was going to spread these lies to hurt Trump. Sounds like Putin wanted Hillary to win. Then you got Ukraine interference. They don't pay attention to that. They don't care about obstruction because there's no bigger slam dunk case than Hillary Clinton's subpoenaed emails erased, acid washing her hard drive and beating up her devices, right? You think that they care about, violent sexual assault, but only if they can bludgeon Trump in the Kavanaugh case. I don't hear any I believers as it goes for the lieutenant governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. So
no, it never ends, Sean. How about you think they'd care that their savior, Robert Mueller, you'd think they'd care that he had no idea how any of this even started. I mean, did you see that testimony?
I watched it.
Mr. Mueller, have you even read the report that bears your name? That poor clown didn't even realize he was totally used. And all the DNC lackeys that were below him were doing all the work, perpetrating all the nonsense, creating the largest hoax ever pushed on the American people. You'd think that would matter, but it doesn't. Because it doesn't complete the narrative. The mainstream media is
it possible?
Wing of the DNC, and it needs to stop.
How is it possible Robert Mueller didn't know he hired Clinton's former attorney, Jeannie Ray? How is it possible that he didn't know what Fusion GPS was?
It's not possible, Sean. It's not possible. You know what else isn't possible, statistically speaking? It's not possible to hire 19 lawyers on a team that's supposed to be objective and unbiased, that are all Hillary supporters or donors or worked on the campaign or were at her, failed victory party. That's impossible, okay? Let's say it's 50-50. What are the odds that you could flip a coin and get the left on each and every one of those people? The whole thing was a setup. Again, it was the greatest hoax ever perpetrated on the American people. And then, when that fails, when collusion fails, when the cover-up, that was the next narrative fails, then it goes back to racism. And then last night, Rachel Maddow's back to Russia. But they got a nice legal letter from us today about just that. Okay? That will fail, and they'll be back to collusion. It never ends.
Whoa.
Sean.
Go into the letter. What did they say, and what did they say whether it was false? That's the other thing.
They're saying that we had Russian oligarchs co-signing our loan agreements on national television.
Oh, that was her and Lawrence O'Donnell, right?
Yeah, I mean, think of how insane that is. So they're getting a nice, legal letter because they've been able to get away with anything. They can say whatever they want. They can defame as much as they want. They go with the notion of, well, we have, inside sources. Sources say. Sources is like their intern who's never met anyone, who doesn't know anything. And as long as someone says it, they can run with it.
The problem
like
is
the wind, and the rest of the media will carry it like it's gospel.
The problem is that people that are in the public eye, the standard for defamation, slander, etc., is so high that people can pretty much say anything about me, you, or your family and get away with it. Now, what's really interesting, you saw the media mob descend on this kid, Nicholas Sandmann, because he had a Make America Great Again hat. Mm-hmm. And they saw not one phone call was ever made to him, his family, representatives, and they went with this narrative. Even when it was proven false, they continued the narrative. Yeah. And
because it was the holy grail of left-wing hit jobs. They had a white, Christian, young male from the South. I mean, this is too good to be true. This is perfect. This kid, we can destroy his life. It doesn't matter, right? It's sort of like what's been going on
but
this
the
week
problem
with the
for them is,
and their writers.
He's not a public figure.
Stuff.
The problem for them is, and this kid has now hired Lynn Wood, who's probably the best defamation attorney in the entire country. And I guarantee you, he's going to win hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in settlements, because they're not going to want to go to trial and be embarrassed, which they will be.
He should. But, Sean, think of the hypocrisy, though. The left was willing to ruin his life.
Yep.
Okay? The left was willing to ruin Justice Kavanaugh because of unfounded allegations from what appeared to be a very off-base woman to me about stuff that happened in high school. But then this week, some people I know catch a New York Times political editor and his anti-Semitic tweets from college. And, oh my God, that's a threat to democracy. You can't call out our people. I mean, think about that. And a political editor for the New York Times is caught writing actual tweets in college, and that's totally off limits to them. He totally immune, but stuff that someone allegedly, based on no credible evidence, did in high school, we're more than happy to ruin their lives for.
Let me ask you this. How does this now play out going into 2020 and beyond?
Well, listen, it works both ways. I have to believe, and I see it, Sean, the American public gets it. They're much smarter than the elitist and the left-wing media would have you believe. I mean, you saw it on, last month in Orlando when we launched sort of 2020. There's 45,000 people show up and they're outside in the rain. And then later on the commentary in the media is, did you see those people? They're in their flip-flops. That must be their formal wear. I mean, the level of hatred and disdain that the liberal elite has for hardworking Americans who just want to see their kids be able to live the American dream. Our only net export for the last 50 years has been the American dream, but my father's changing that, Sean. And that hypocrisy, they see it. The left hates it because, man, by any reasonable metric, 2020 should be over, Sean. It shouldn't even be close. But because they can get away with this, because they can lie, they can cheat, they can steal, they can do whatever they want, and no one's ever going to call them out on it, with the exception of maybe you and me. They can get away with murder.
There's not a lot of us, I'll tell you that. All right, Donald Trump Jr. is with us. He's got a book coming out this fall. It's called Triggered, How the Left Thrives on Hate, Wants to Silence Us. You can get your copy now. We have a link on Hannity.com. We'll have more with Don on the other side of this quick break here. 800-941-SEAN is our number. We'll also get to your calls this hour. I want to remind you, my buddy Mike Lindell, nicest guy in the world, changed my life. I have really bad insomnia, but with MyPillow and MyPillow products and the MyPillow mattress topper and sheets and, the full body pillow, I fall asleep faster and I stay asleep longer. It works. And Mike Lindell is offering the best deals his company has ever offered. And all you have to do is go to MyPillow.com. You're going to see the Sean Hannity Square. Click on it. On any given day, you're going to see major, massive discounts. For example, they had the body pillow, regularly $89.99. Okay, you go to MyPillow.com, Sean Hannity Square, you get it for $29.99. 60-day unconditional money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty. You can pre-order Mike's book, by the way. You'll get your entire order shipped for free. Just go to MyPillow.com, click on the Sean Hannity Square, and you'll start getting the sleep you've been craving and you desperately deserve.
The forgotten man is forgotten no more. This is the Sean Hannity Show.
From farm equipment to power sports, your one-stop shop for lubrication is Royal Oil. Visit RoyalOilUS.com.
Exposing government waste and abuse of your liberties every day. Sean Hannity is on right now.
I sometimes fear what we're going to be living with when I'm 40, 50, 60 years old. I'm scared about disease. There are a lot of things frozen in the tundra. I should put a timer on this, actually. Hold on. There are a lot of diseases that are frozen in some of these glaciers that scientists fear that there's a potential that a lot of diseases could escape these melted glaciers, things that were frozen for thousands of years, and that they're going to get into our water and that humans could contract them, and they are going to be diseases that are thousands of years old that have vectors that we are not prepared for, that we have never seen. And so, that's a concern. Even if there are no diseases frozen at all in these glaciers, you have diseases that are spread by mosquitoes, and now mosquitoes are starting to fly further north that carry diseases like malaria and a whole slew of other things. And there are, parts of the United States and things that are moving much further north that we're going to have to contend with diseases that we haven't had to contend with in parts of the world before. So there's disease, there's sea level rise, there is, and by the way, sea level rise is probably one of the most expensive parts about climate change. You think overhauling our economy to decarbonize and save the planet is going to be expensive? Try not decarbonizing our economy and allowing sea levels to rise, every coastal city to go underwater, every Midwestern city or large swaths of the middle of the country experiencing drought on a level that we have not seen. That's going to be way more expensive. You think artificially having to create our food supply because the earth no longer can sustain growing foods naturally, or the sun is scorching the earth so much that we can't grow the foods that we used to be able to grow, that's going to be a lot more expensive. So we need to bite the bullet on the cost, because the alternative to not spending the money is A, death, and B, spending even more money. Only until we accept, frankly, how bad climate change is and how bad it can be for our children's lives, are we going to be comfortable pursuing really big solutions. And frankly, when it comes to climate change and climate change policy, we need to support the biggest solution that's on the table. This is not about like just putting solar panels on people's roofs. This is about changing our consumption. This is about living our whole lives in a way that is more sustainable and humane. And it goes through everything. And people may not like it, and they may say, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Like, we're not trying to end cows and plane travel, but we need to change our lives. All of it. Our whole lives. We need to probably we need to ban single-use plastic at some point, although that is not related to climate change, but it is related to our food supply and how we live. There's a lot we have to do. And the thing is that the best thing we can do is be as supportive of climate policy and to prioritize it. Like, if you can make climate change one of your top 3 voting issues, that's a huge thing you can do. But also, if you change your personal consumption, that can do a lot as well.
All right, there is the genius that represents the squad. That would be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the real speaker of the House, just, Nancy Pelosi, speaker in name only, and the genius behind, well, we don't need to have a cost. And, all right, well, maybe we won't get rid of planes and cows anymore, but yeah, we're going to be off fossil fuels in 10 years and the doom and the gloom. You notice this is the people that have met the best standards and are the best stewards that have made the most improvement for the environment are the United States of America. And I love how the burden and the price and the politics behind this agenda are always put on the American taxpayer. Okay, so we're going to give up the lifeblood of our economy in light of the fact that these are the dire predictions of people that don't have a clue as to what it is that they are talking about. It all started out with a very simple premise. And you can go back in the 70s and check this out. The Earth is about to enter a next ice age. Wow. All same people, same agenda. And what human activity, human beings raping, pillaging the planet for profit because they're capitalists. That caused it. Well, okay. Then it evolved into, we're about to burn up. Global warming is going to burn us within 10 years. It's always within 10 years. Always a sense of urgency. Then that didn't happen. And we had some of the coldest years on record and a lot of snow in the process. And then we say, well, all right, well, we'll just call it climate change. And if it rains, snows, doesn't rain, doesn't snow, if there are hurricanes, no hurricanes, if there's any type of activities weather-wise, we will just attribute it to climate change and the human factor. Of course, we are responsible for everything, the destruction of the planet, because greedy capitalists want to make profits, but they also make our lives better. It is, and then everything in America is going to be free. This is what the new Green Deal is all about. We're going to be off oil and gas in 10 years. We're going to have free preschool education. Now we're going to get kids in school. Now, remember, we pay more per capita per kid in this country than any other industrialized country, but we're like 37th. I mean, I can't believe we have 13 public high schools in Baltimore and not one single solitary student is proficient in reading and math. Not one. New York just got their test scores back for kids in grades 3 through 8. And they're like at 44% are proficient in the fundamentals. 44%. They go, wow, this is good. We're great progress. We're doing really well. Like doing really well. How do we define success here? Is that would be a failing grade by any standard. But that doesn't matter because we're making progress. We're 0.6% better than we were last year. Okay, that is pretty much, you can't distinguish at that point. It is a statistical tie by every measure. Now they have these schools in New York that are working, and every school in the city now is going to be engineered to match the exact racial mix of the city, and there should be no sorting of academic ability. An education panel that was handpicked by Mayor de Blasio because they had these schools that were actually doing really, really well with kids that seem to be particularly gifted towards academics. But they're saying, well, no, that's now fundamentally unfair. That's not fair to the kids that don't seem to show that early talent and drive and love of education. Okay, so now we're just not going to have those schools anymore because otherwise it's not fair. At least fairness defined by liberal Democrats. And I'm sitting there as I'm reading all this today, I'm thinking, well, we did have another successful experiment in New York City. It was an all-girls private school, kids in uniforms. The grades went up. The kids loved it. The parents loved it. It was working. And no, we can't have that because it's not fair. Everything's not fair. And so they stopped that program. They were sued to stop that program. I think the New York Civil Liberties Union, if I recall correctly. But now we've got, in the name of diversity, they're going to destroy what was the best performing schools in New York City. And they're going to do it in the name of fairness. If certain kids have certain athletic gifts, I would put them in a school that fostered an athletic environment. If other kids have musical gifts, why not put them in a school that fosters their musical talents? If certain kids have scientific gifts, why not put them in a school that will literally foster and bring out of them the talent and interest that they have and the proclivity of success that they have. Remember, the root word for education from the Latin means to bring forth from within. Some kid, I believe every kid has gifts. Some kids have science gifts, maths gifts. Some kids are great writers and readers, and, others have real great people skills and a friendly personality, and you can get them into the right profession for them later in their career. Athletic skills, whatever it happens to be, musical talent, and you can help foster. No, that would be, we can't do that. And so now they're going to put to end one of the not only more popular policies, but one that was actually working in New York. I mean, this was the one school that was actually succeeding. The one school system that was actually working, the one experiment that actually, did it. So, it makes no sense. They want this fairness. What do you think the wealth tax is all about? So you live in a after decades and decades of Democratic Party rule. Well, what do they do with all of the money? They're certainly not improving the schools. Every time we hear about lottery, money is going to go to the children. Okay, well, we're spending the money. Are we? And then what? What happens? The grades don't improve. Anyway, so they have decided in New York to end the gifted and talented education portion of the New York City public school system. Because, it literally, I guess, is too successful, but only for some kids. All right, got to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll continue more calls on the other side. All right, so all of us here on the Sean Hannity Show, all right, everybody loves their Tecovas boots, right? We love them. They have jeans. They have boots. When you get the duffel bag, it's got that, new car smell. The leather. I mean, the finest qualities. What's so amazing is they have the best qualities, the best boot makers ever, that have done it in families for generations, 200 separate steps just to make one boot. And when they started the company Tecovas, Brandon, he lived in his car for months as they were getting the company off the ground. And Paul, the founder and CEO, he emptied his 401k, ran up his credit card, sold his car, bought an old jalopy, and he used that jalopy to cart around their first shipment of boots to trunk shows around Texas. And the great thing is you're going to pay half of what you'd pay from any store for a high quality boot with the same process as any other good quality boot, because they go directly to you, the consumer. You're going to love Tecovas. You're going to love their jeans. You're going to love their wallets. You're going to love their belts. You're going to love their boots more than anything. Just go to Tecovas.com/Hannity. That's Tecovas, TECOVAS.com/Hannity.
Immigration, jobs, healthcare. The news you care about is right here. Hannity Watch is on.
Accelerate the fastest growing agricultural additive on the market. Visit RoyalOilUS.com to learn more.
Labor Day's almost here. Blinds.com, they're celebrating all your hard work by offering you huge savings on custom blinds, shades, and plantation shutters. Now with over 30,000 five-star customer reviews, Blinds.com is by far America's #1 choice. Now through September the 3rd, save up to 50% on everything during Blinds.com, their huge Labor Day sale, plus an extra $20 off on top of that when you use the promo code Hannity. That's Blinds.com, promo code Hannity. Rules, restrictions apply.
Attention military service members. If you use dual-sided combat arms earplugs during active duty between 2003 and 2015 and then suffered tinnitus, ringing in ears, hearing loss, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Contact Thomas J. Henry for a free and confidential consultation. Dial pound 250 and say keyword action. That's pound 250, keyword action. Call Thomas J. Henry now and get the money you deserve. Principal office in San Antonio, Texas. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from the station.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One N.A. member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
With over 75 years of combined industry experience, Advantage Tax Services Incorporated in Atlanta, Georgia has helped many taxpayers avoid the sometimes harsh collection tactics used by the IRS. If you owe the IRS or your state $10,000 or more, they could save you up to 85% off your tax debt, including penalties and interest. Call today for your free consultation, 866-606-3570. Advantage Tax Services Incorporated, 866-606-3570.
Great news from Sprint. The wait is finally over. The new Samsung Galaxy Note 10 with the powerful S Pen has arrived at Sprint, and you can get it for 50% off with a Sprint Flex lease. That's right. Get the power of performance and productivity of the Galaxy Note 10 for less than $20 per month. There's never been a better time to switch. To learn more, visit your local Sprint store, sprint.com/Galaxy Note 10, or call 800-SPRINT-1 today.
$19.79 a month after $19.80 monthly credit applied with 2 bills with approved credit 18-month lease and new line of service. If canceled early, remain balance due. Excludes tax coverage and offer not available everywhere. Third activation fee restrictions apply.
There's only one name you need to remember for storage solutions: Waters Ag Storage, FM 369 at US 287 in Wichita Falls. With storage containers from 6 feet to 40 feet, they can solve your storage issues, and they can customize them for nearly any need. Their offices are built from storage containers, and they look amazing. Waters Ag Storage, FM 369 at US 287, 940-855-7822, watersagstorage.com. It's time once again for the Texas-Oklahoma Fair, September 17th through the 21st at the MPEC in Wichita Falls. All the great carnival rides you love, food vendors, live wrestling in the Ray Clymer Exhibit Hall. All active, retired, and reserve military and their families admitted free on opening night. $20 armbands on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday afternoon. Fun for the whole family. The Texas-Oklahoma Fair, September 17th through the 21st at the MPEC. Visit FounderLionsClub.com for more.
Say Metro by T-Mobile got the best deal in wireless, and it's all for you, all for me. Just switch quickly, cause Metro has 2 lines for $80 and 2 Samsung Galaxy J7 Star phones for free, plus Amazon Prime included. That's the way wireless should be, only at Metro.
Plus sales tax and activation fee. $50 plus rate plan required. Not valid for numbers currently on T-Mobile network or on Metro in past 90 days. Offer subject to change. Offer valid for new Amazon Prime members. Amazon Prime has a $12.99 per month value. Restrictions apply. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Being a head coach to me is a dream come true. Life is super busy, constantly on the road. I want to spend all the time I have working with my team, getting them better. I don't have a lot of time to go around to a lot of different dealerships, do a lot of online shopping. So I called my friends over at Lipscomb Auto Center, and they gave me a great deal on a brand new Tahoe and delivered it right to my doorstep the very next day. It's first-class service, and they're going to be there for you, just like they have for the past 40 years.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's Employee of the Month, 2 months in a row. Leave a message at the... Hey, Jamie, it's me, Jamie. Do not forget to buy lentils, or the lentil soup you're making for dinner will be sorely lacking. By the way, Mrs. Calloway says thanks for helping her bundle home and auto. She appreciates the extra savings, even though you kept using the word apropos incorrectly. But the main thing is do not forget to buy, what was it? Something apropos the lentil soup. Sorry, I'll call you back.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
About 2/3 of New York City public school students are Black or Latino, but in the city's better resourced programs called Gifted and Talented programs, about 75% of students are white or Asian. This new report, requested by Mayor Bill de Blasio and carried out over 2 years, makes recommendations to change how the system is now.
Don't have an admissions policy based on a single test. Those are the things that exclude kids because they're poor.
That's the upshot of the 39-page report. It also calls for replacing gifted and talented programs with what's called enrichment models, a way that the panel says still identifies bright students but de-emphasizes testing. It also calls for stopping or reducing the screening of students to get into middle and high schools. And this is big. Redraw the borders of the 32 school district lines that are within the city.
New York likes to think of itself as a cutting-edge city that's leading the country. We absolutely are not on public education.
The co-chair of the group that worked on and wrote the report is clear. The head of the schools, not as much.
I look forward to diving into these recommendations and sharing our response with you as soon as humanly possible.
You know, not every kid is born with the same talent. That's the whole point. Education, to bring forth from within. What are the natural God-given gifts people have? Everybody on my team that I'm looking at right now, even the new guy, whatever the new guy's name is, I hear he's an alphabet letter. Everybody that I'm looking at right now, I'm looking at 6 people, and they all have very different skills and talents that they contribute to the show every day. Every one of them. And every kid has a unique talent. We're created equally, but everybody's born with special talents. But, forget it. Let's just get rid of that idea. They have a gifted and talented education program, and they're just going to blow that up. And that means the opportunity for so many kids just is wiped away. And that's going to be the same thing. Everything's going to be for free. They're going to confiscate every bit of money we have. And if you get to save any money, remember, Elizabeth Warren and others will come back with a wealth tax after you pay in, your 40% federal income tax, your 13.5% state income tax in California. In New York, it's 10% state, 3%, 4% city. So that's now 54 cents of every dollar. Then you got your sales taxes. You got your property taxes. It's 60 some odd cents of every dollar you're giving to the government. And then if you save some, if you're dumb enough to save any, well, then they're going to come back and say, well, give us more. We're going to tax the wealth that you have saved. Now, that's money that's already been taxed. They'll tax it again. Why? To pay for everybody's education, everybody's retirement, everybody's guaranteed job, everyone's guaranteed healthy food, everyone's guaranteed healthy this, and, of course, Medicare for all. But you can't get your own private insurance. And then when you die, if you die in New York, you pay 16% death tax. If you die nationally, 50% of your money that you saved, the government comes in and steals. That's license stealing. We've had people in government create laws that allow them to pick our pockets and rob us blind. And that's exactly what they're doing.
Baseball today. It's the American way. Of course, the next best thing to a seat in the stands is a seat in front of a 19-inch RCA Victor television. One more day to Labor Day weekend, the traditional occasion for tasty outdoor barbecues or picnics.
all the enemies who are between me and...
Times Square, 42nd